It's exactly the same. There's no difference. Manny hasn't been training all week. There's no progress on Rowe still. Danny Rowe, so he's out. So yeah, the one positive is Jack Clark and Kwasi. They've upped their training, but still, this game's come too soon. So look, up against it again, but look, we've got positive results while we've gone through this adversity. So there's no reason why we can't go and win on Sunday.
Do you have an idea how long you might be without Manny, or you're lucky?
It's a complicated one because he's got full strength in his calf, but we're looking at other areas where the pain's coming from. Obviously, the pain's coming through his calf, but there's different ways the nerves come into there, and etc. So look, it's a complicated one. We can't quite get to the bottom of it because some days he's okay and other days he's not. So hopefully that will just work out itself, and he'll be back into league action the following week at Grimsby.
Given some of the issues you've got with injuries, was a week off beneficial? Was a weekend off beneficial?
Yeah, look, I said we never want to jerk a game or dodge a challenge. So after the Altrincham game, we were fully focused on going down to Maidenhead and getting a positive result. My mindset only changed once the league confirmed that Maidenhead had to cancel because obviously COVID. So yes, maybe it's a welcome break that we can try and nurse some bodies together and get over the bumps and bruises from the Saturday at Solihull and the Tuesday at Altrincham. So probably it was a positive, and we go in a little bit fresher into Salford.
How do you keep battling on with these injuries, James? We've talked in the past about how well your players have coped with this situation, but how do they keep doing that? Because it's a long season. Yeah,
it's a good question. It can't go on forever, obviously, if we want to aspire to the long-term target of this season, what we want to achieve. So, but I'm confident. Everyone's working really hard behind the scenes. My backroom staff, support staff, are working so hard to get everybody back, and the players included are working as hard as they can. There's not many days off at all for the injured lads at the moment. They're coming in on their days off to try and get that extra 1% if they can to get back quicker. All we can do is be positive and have a positive mindset. We go in on Sunday as the underdogs because of this our injury crisis. But as I said, we'll play some good football in patches. It's not going to be perfect. Obviously, any coach that sat in front of you here with 12 players out, so we've got 11 out plus Williams, who's obviously suspended or cup tied, 12 out. Any coach has their mainstays in the team, don't they, for the spine of your team, etc. And when you rotate, you often have those mainstays somewhere in the team. We've got our captain, our vice captain out, our main spine out of the team. If you look at Maguire, Gunning, Olieki, Rowe, Asante, King, etc. So look, Carline as well. So you've got some major players there that are out of your team, your mainstays. So it's a case of new relationships being built over this period, these last 2-3 weeks, and it's credit to the lads. They've performed fantastically, and it's a credit to them that are still top of the league.
And there's a big month ahead, isn't it? I know this is a cup game this weekend, but there are some big games coming up over the next few weeks.
Yeah, it's lovely, isn't it? It's what we want. We want these big games. Let's be positive, and whoever puts the shirt on, I'm confident they can put a performance in.
Now, it's 25 years since the club made some very special FA Cup memories. Do you see this as a chance, again, to make a bit of noise in this competition and maybe even show off some league credentials in this tournament?
Yep. For sure, we want to show people what we're about. But when you have so many mainstays out, sometimes you have to sacrifice your principles a little bit, which is hard for a coach as well. You want to play the way what you believe in, but that can't overcome or override the end result. It's always the end result that matters. So on the short term, we have to sacrifice some of our principles, which we've done at Solihull. We've done at Altrincham here a little bit, especially with Manny going off at half time. We need to find a balance of how to win against the next opponent, and it's Salford at the moment. So we've studied them. We know what their strengths are. They've picked up heavily in the last month since the Dagenham FA Cup tie they had. I think they've got 2 wins and 2 draws, so they've bounced up in the league a little bit themselves. So they're in a positive frame of mind. So are we. Should be a good game for the neutral. And yeah, the main target was when we first come in this job was to put Chesterfield back on the map, and we're slowly doing that. And a game like this can only serve well for the club, can't it?
How important is it for a manager to be adaptable like this, to say, okay, in this situation, this is my way of playing, but I have to adapt because this is the situation?
I don't like to comment on other coaches, but for myself, it's all my philosophy is to win. You know, people talk about philosophies, play this way, play that way, but ultimately it's a results business, and we play to win. And what we try to do is build a squad that can play different ways against different opponents, and also adapt during a game and be flexible. Unfortunately, we can't be too flexible within 90 minutes of football because of the positions we've got out, or the players we've got out. But we're going to be fully ready. We're looking for a really positive day today and tomorrow, going into Salford, which is, you know, it's a free hit for us. We've got no pressure on us. We're going away to a League Two side. They are presently where we want to be next year. So it's a great game for us to be in, and we can only try our best.
Thank you very much, James. All the best.
Thanks,
this
mate.
weekend.
Okay.
Good morning, James.
Hi.
You've now obviously been in charge of Chesterfield for a year. How would you sum up the last 12 months?
I would say that I've aged. No, it's been great. Fantastic. I think if we would have mapped out the year in terms of how we wanted it to go, as we sit here today, obviously going from 22nd to 1st, fantastic. Unfortunately, that's gone over a calendar year though, and it hasn't gone over a 9-month season. So if it would have gone over a 9-month season, we might have been celebrating. But so we've got to be fully focused on the next 5 months of maintaining our form if we can. It's been fantastic. But the main thing is the community. So I saw some things last night where they were queuing outside the club shop to meet the players, etc. And the players are giving their time up to give back to the support base. And that's what we want to do. Those relationships have been built, I think, and they serve well for the future. And reigniting the community has probably been the best thing over the last year.
And like you said, the fans have really taken to you as well. Do you feel really at home at the club now?
Yeah, I'm really settled here. Obviously, my family up here as well. Moving to Derbyshire, etc. It's been a really good year. It's a fantastic year, and so many memories. And sometimes when you're going full throttle, it's hard to reflect because you're on to the next opponent. But maybe these few days over the last weekend gave me a chance to reflect a little bit on what a fantastic year it's been and how proud I am to manage this football club.
Do you have a favourite moment or your favourite win so far?
No. If we can win the league, because it's a big if, because there's so many challenges this year, it's a great league to be involved in. That'll be my best win, I'm sure. But at the moment, we haven't won anything, and I'm here to win. So once that happens, maybe I can answer that question.
And how do you see the club developing in the next year then? You know, what direction would you like to take it in, and what things would you like to improve on?
Well, it's pertinent that we've got Salford this weekend because they are where we want to be. There's no point jerking or dodging the long-term target of what we want. I've signed a deal here for a reason to get us back into the EFL. So if we can do that in my second year of being here, then it will be ahead of our target. So ultimately, that's where we want to be as a club, and everyone's working hard towards that. And it's not just me. I sit in front of you leading the process on the technical side, but there's a hell of a lot of work going on in the community. John Crute's working so hard as the CEO, bringing things together and making sure the structure's right for the long-term security and fun, really, of the support base. It was about putting smiles back on faces, and I think we've certainly done that. And long may that continue with exciting football. We've scored a lot of goals in that year as well, and not let so many in. So it's a good balance, isn't it? And long may that continue.
And obviously, it is Salford tomorrow. Then, what type of game are you expecting?
I believe we'll have to weather some spell from them because they're the home side. They're in good form and they're well organised. They ask questions of you, so we're going to have to defend our 18-yard box well. But the space that's left behind, I'm sure we can exploit in different ways. And when we do get possession of the ball, we need time on it and we need to have some patience with the ball, which we didn't do against Altrincham in the second half. And ultimately, despite their lack of goal threat, unbelievably, they've scored 2 in the last 5 minutes, which is, it wasn't great. So we need to learn from that and make sure if we are in the league, we close out victories.
And since the draw's been made, Salford seems to have a bit of an upturn in form, so perhaps this tie is a little bit different from perhaps a month ago.
Yeah, but I fully expected that because they had some injuries as well, I believe, and suspensions, etc. And they're starting to slowly get those players back. Unfortunately, we haven't, but our form's continued as well. So it's going to be a good game. It's a cup tie, so we've got to give our all and hopefully win it on the day.